Welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of Psalms, chapter 100, verse 4. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. And I'm going to repeat that. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his holy name. There's only one way to get to heaven, and that is through Jesus. It is his blood that covers us, so that when God looks at us, all he sees is his righteous and holy Son, and not our sin, not our shame, not our evil flesh, for none of us is good. None. And though we may be on this earth temporary because it's not a permanent home, since God has blessed us here, we have done some pretty messed up things. We pretty much destroyed everything that he has created, including ourselves. Now, this doesn't seem like something that the direction I should be going with this verse, because it's saying to be thankful, but it very much is so, because we only seem to remember to be grateful, happy, and thankful when things are going our way, when we are getting what we want, when we're walking on sunshine. The problem is, if we're not content, if we're not happy, no matter what we're going through, and I know it's hard when we're going through some horrific stuff to be happy. That's because we're living in our flesh and not in our spirit. That's where the enemy wants you to be caught up in your emotions, the stress of it all, the worry of it all, because it's making you forget that we have God. He's on our side. He provides, and he has grace, mercy, and forgiveness. So that when we stumble, when we fall, even when we're caught up in ourselves and our emotions, and forget how to be Christ-like and act in anger and certain things because things isn't pleasing to us. The reasons why the Israelites, that first generation, did not enter into the promised land and what God had for them was because they wasn't grateful. They wasn't thankful for what they have and what they was going through. They couldn't see. They couldn't see all that God has done for them, because they was too busy complaining about this and about that. How quick they had forgotten the miracles and wonders and the parting of the Red Sea and the freedom due to complaining. They was caught up in themselves. See, even though they kept being in sin, worshiping false idols, making false gods, the main thing that was bothered God the most was the complaining. See, when we complain, it means we're not happy and satisfied with what God is providing for us. That he isn't doing a good job at providing for us. Now, most of us have had kids. We most definitely have been a kid. And we know and understand that sometimes we're not going to make our kids happy in providing for the things that they would want. But we make sure they get what they need. God always provides to make sure that we're taking care of it. And it doesn't matter what we have gone through. See, a lot of people want to focus on all the evil and the suffering in the world. But yet, we kind of make it through. Now, not everybody survives such horrific things, in life. Going all the way back to the very beginning, such evil things have happened that's cost people their lives, cost major suffering. But the fact that we have Him in our lives and in our hearts gives us the peace, the comfort, and the strength to make it through until the end. And when we have Him in our lives and in our hearts, we shouldn't be worried about the storm that we're going through or what we're facing, because we know that in the end, where we'll be in His presence, in His kingdom, in His arms. When we get to heaven, we're not even going to need no sun and no moon for our light. For His glory, His light will surround us. There would be no need for any other light, because God is the light in our darkness. Oh, I know it's hard to be grateful and thankful with a lot of things. But that's because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're actually focusing on that very specific thing that's causing you suffering. Why are you giving the thing that's causing you suffering and pain all that attention? Jesus says, keep your eyes upon Him. Peter didn't slip in the water after walking on it because God wasn't powerful enough to keep him afloat. He fell from walking in the water because he took his focus off Jesus. He stopped paying attention to God and started focusing on the problem, the storm. The Israelites was eating holy bread that fell from heaven. Do you know if somebody was to collect that and try to sell it, how it would just go for billions, and how people would literally riot and do all kinds of mad, crazy things because people are evil and they want to have this to get attention and to say, look what I've got. They would go literally bonkers. But the Israelites complained and said, I wish we was back into slavery, because then we would have onions and herbs. Onions. That they begged for meat. They got greedy. They wasn't thankful. They wasn't content. We got to be thankful. We have to be content. The problem with most people is that they're not content with what they have. And that's why greed is taking over them. Gluttony. Could you imagine spending all of eternity in hell and be thrown into the lake of fire because you complained? Because you complained, you wasn't happy with what God of the whole universe, all creation, was giving you. because you was too greedy.